Welcome back. So far we've covered the system ground source connection here at the power supply umbilical and its direct connection to the chassis backplane, and down here to this connector. We covered that. Now we're going to look at this little guy here. Okay, that connector has ground. Blue is 48 volt for the phantom power, and black and red are plus and minus 17 volt rails. This connector connects up again with the master left-right master PCB right down here. Now we're gonna double check, and the kind folks at Soundtracs, since these connectors are not keyed, used indelible marker and marked black, and then marked black as well. Up in here so you can see what goes where. So our little ground wire is on pin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of that. And we start down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have a look at where that goes. And we follow that down here, up, and it goes up all the way up to this. That's the headphone jack. So basically, the only thing that the ground wire does in this connector is the ground reference for the headphone jack, just ties that straight on back to the chassis. And that's as far as that goes. And schematically, let me come over to here. And this is the master PCB. And let's see here. Double check here. Yeah, I believe that is labeled as connector 5. Now, this is where there is some inconsistency. Because connector 5 in the schematics is listed as only having 4 pins. And we also see here at our headphone jack, you have a reference to ground with no specificity. So from the schematic, we don't see where that comes from. And we also have connector 5, which says, hey, I've only got 4 pins, but we can clearly see that connector 5 has 6. So we're going to leave it at that. I've followed that trace, and that's where it goes. So we've covered everything so far that comes off this bundle here to our system. Again, this is a 24 volt line and ground that goes up to a fused PCB on the meter bridge. I got it laying over there right now. I'm not certain yet, but I believe that has something to do with providing power source for an optional input metering array. And we've followed this cable here. So we got a green wire there, and we talked about that connector, and we talked about that connector. So next up is to look at this whole mess and also look at some other things on the schematics and tease out where the rest of the system gets its ground, because all we've covered so far is meter switching and the headphone jack. That's all we've got.